There is video of padded practice on Saturday, back together in pads, and got a little close to Josh Allen. Got a little too close for his liking. A little push there, a little shove there, and oh, Josh Allen, don't mess with the guy in the red jersey. Hey, if we want to have any shot at winning a Super Bowl, the last thing you want to do is is it Matt Barkley? Is he the backup? Who the hell's even the backup in Buffalo?
That's Case Keenum now, I believe, right?
Okay, I still like Case Keenum. I think the Vikings should have kept him, but I digress. Josh Allen on Twitter, man, I love football. The boys got going yesterday, and it's all love. First day of pads, just pushing each other to be great. That is all sure. He didn't like the idea that somebody took a little shot at him.
Yeah.
He didn't like it. And if I'm a defensive player, I'm probably a little resentful of the fact that we're here actually working and we're subject to physical risk and the quarterback gets a pass. The rules already put him in bubble wrap. We're going to keep him in bubble wrap in practice too. Hey, he's got to get ready for the season. Let's give him the business a little bit. So I kind of like that it happened, and I kind of like how I reacted. I like all of it. Football is back. That's a great illustration of it.
Yeah, I'm sure that frustrates defensive players. It has to. There's no doubt. But at the same time, the defensive players to realize that, like, hey, the goal is to win the Super Bowl, and you will not be winning the Super Bowl if Josh Allen isn't playing quarterback for you, Buffalo. So you got to keep him safe. It was not much. I mean, Jordan Phillips did slow up. He didn't, try to deliver the blow. He made contact. And I think that, hey, Josh Allen, it's a few days into camp. You start to get a little, restless and just annoyed at the world, waking up early, tired, physically tired, mentally tired. I think he probably overreacted a little bit. And, I love the scuffle. I always love watching the O-lineman jump in. But how do you not love Gabe Davis off the top ropes right there, followed by Stefon Diggs off the top ropes? That was, to me, the best part of it.
But that's the kind of thing that has to drive you crazy as a coach,
yes,
because all it takes is one guy lands a little funny and then he's got a knee issue.
Right.
That's why most coaches don't want to see this, because it introduces the possibility of contact that's completely unnecessary and gratuitous and can get a guy injured. Beyond the fact that somebody's going to be dumb enough to slug, a gloved hand into a helmeted head, which is never good. We didn't see any of that yet, and we love to see. I mean, it's part of the fun of training camp, but it's not fun for the coaches because they don't want to lose a guy to something like this. They got enough to worry about guys getting injured during the reps. This stuff only gets guys injured, but it also gets guys a little fired up. Got me fired up. All right, let's do a little grab bag. AFC East. Take your pick. Who will emerge as the Bills' number 2 receiver? They lost Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders. They have Jamison Crowder and Tavon Austin. Gabriel Davis had that 4-touchdown performance in the playoff loss to the Chiefs. I still think they should look at OBJ, but that's a different issue altogether. Who do you think their number 2 is going to be?
Well, I think that you say it right, though. To me, this is one of the biggest questions in the NFL. It's just, again, I'm still one that'll sit here and go, man, they put a lot on Josh Allen. They really do. I mean, the fact that we're sitting here even having this conversation right now about who's going to be the number 2 receiver, about the Super Bowl favorite, I think it says a lot. I'm going to go with Gabe Davis, though, for sure. The way the season ended, it's year 3 for him. This is usually the year it really can click for a receiver like that. He's got size. He's certainly going to be comfortable in the offense. But, yeah, the emergence of this number 2 receiver, no life without Brian Daboll and life with Ken Dorsey. Everybody's just putting Buffalo in the Super Bowl, and to me, those are 2 big questions that I still think need to be answered there. I'm going to be interested to see how that offense looks under Dorsey and who this next weapon can be to step up.
Gabriel Davis was great as a rookie. He didn't meet that same standard for much of his second regular season, but then, pow, the 4-touchdown game. And it may just be because the Chiefs, studying the film, they decided not to commit to stopping. Hey, let's focus on Stefon Diggs and Dawson Knox, and we're not going to worry about Gabriel Davis. And you get burned by that. Well, now, this year, there's going to be some resources devoted to trying to take him away, and we'll see if he can step into that role. But, yeah, I think it will be Gabriel Davis. I don't think you have a performance like that in one of the great games we've ever seen and have that just kind of
be forgotten.
Fizzle out.
Right.
Yeah, I think he'll remember it, and I think the problem is defenses are going to remember it, so it won't be quite as easy as it was that day, but I think he'll be the guy. Buy or sell, New England style. The Patriots offense will look lost at times during the preseason? Are you buying or are you selling? Remember, Josh McDaniels is gone as the offensive coordinator, and you've got a former special teams coordinator who's now the quarterback's coach. You've got a former defensive coordinator who's now coaching the offensive line. Buy or sell, offense will look lost.
I'm going to sell that. I am. I'm not going to necessarily say that's true during the regular season. I like to see that. But one thing I can count on in New England is they're going to have their base plays, and they don't take the training wheels off until they feel like they've mastered riding the bike that way. So that's where I feel like, I know Patricia's new to this side of the ball, Joe Judge as well, but we know the evil Dark Lord is looking over all of this. He's involved in this. And within their core 15 or 20 plays, they're going to have that mastered. And in the preseason, you don't dive too deep into the playbook to where I don't think they will look lost during the preseason. Now, week number 4 in the regular season, when you need some creativity and a few new curveballs and looks and things like that, that's where I question this new experiment in New England.
Yeah, apparently some news is breaking.
It's I hear your phone falling on the. I knew you were barely listening to me, and I could tell you were looking at your phone.
She has found that DeSean Watson violated the personal conduct policy and suspended him 6 games. That is what the parties have been informed per multiple reports. So it's right in the range where we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And now the question will be, what does the NFL do? Is that enough for the NFL to say, we're fine, we'll accept it, or will they exercise their prerogative to appeal? I don't want to completely shut the show down and focus on that. We're in the middle of it. What should we do?
You want to
here?
just finish? Let's finish this and let's go around.
Let's finish our thought.
Yeah, next
and
segment,
then next
we
segment
go Watson again.
We'll add anything to it that we have. All right. We'll be back to DeSean Watson, but again, it's 6 games pending whatever further developments there may be via an appeal by the NFL. I doubt that Watson will appeal. Okay. The Jets. Let's do fill in the blank. The player who will create the most buzz this preseason will be who, Chris?
I'm going to go with the quarterback here. I mean, I know there's some other great personalities there, and Sauce Gardner and the Wilson from Ohio State. We're all excited about it. But the end of the day, everybody up here in New York has their eye on Zach Wilson. And the way he ended the season, plus now being, the MILFinator and everything else to go along with it. Sorry, I had to say it. Yes, all eyes will be on him. And I think they're going to unleash him this year. Year 2, Mike LaFleur, everything there to where I think we're going to see, an offense that plays through Zach Wilson in the preseason.
It was difficult last year for Zach Wilson to do much of anything because the offensive line was horrible. The supporting cast was less than ideal.
Right. Injuries.
And it just seemed like, hey, look, not every guy is going to walk into the NFL and it's all going to fall together. It just seemed overwhelmed at times. And now this year, we'll see. But if he comes out and gives us a sign that he's starting to reach toward that potential that you saw in him coming out of BYU, then I think he will create the most buzz. But here's the other question, too. How much of a chance will he have to even create buzz? How much are they going to use him in the preseason? It's so weird now with only 3 games.
I know.
And teams trying to keep their guys healthy. We may not see him enough for him to create any real buzz during the preseason. But what we may get that chatter about how, man, he's looking pretty good.
Yeah,
man,
exactly.
He's going to take it to a next level. Man, you watch. You wait and see. When week 1 rolls around, you're going to see a guy who comes out and takes the league by storm. That's the kind of buzz that we need to keep our ears open for.
Exactly right. And usually we do hear that type of stuff, and usually it does hold true to where you go, hey, I heard a lot of chatter about him in camp, and there we are in week 3 or 4 going, hey, he's playing good so far this year. I would think we're going to see this Jets team a little bit in the preseason. I would, just to piggyback off your thought a little bit, just because it's a young team. They were injured a little last year. They got to learn to play and be a little battle-tested. And the other thing, Mike, like we've talked about so many times, their schedule. They got to be ready and hit the ground running. I don't think they can be one of those teams that would be like, a veteran team that knows how to play where you can just go, hey, we're not going to play you much in the preseason, and then week 1 comes, you guys know how to turn it on and go get it. I think they'll be out there a little bit getting some experience because they got to play the 4 AFC North teams to start the year. They better be ready to play football week 1.
All right. Lastly, buy or sell, 2 and on style. we will see a Tua Tagovailoa to Tyreek Hill deep touchdown during the month of August in a game, not practice, in a game. We saw one, and I got to give him credit. Got to give him credit. Uncorked it and almost tried to overthrow him. Tried to overthrow him.
Good
almost
spiral.
Did overthrow Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
He had to really reach out to get that ball. A far cry from the throw from the offseason program that was put on the Dolphins Twitter page of the very bad underthrow. This one, a thing of beauty. Sent the crowd into a frenzy. And, hey, it's the kind of thing that if we see enough of that, if we see it in games, makes a difference for the Dolphins. So, Chris, buy or sell? Do we see one of those in a preseason game?
And this one, to me, is one of the easiest ones of all. It's buy all the way. They're going to go out of their way to make sure this happens in a preseason football game. Again, this is the continuation of the selling of Tua, Tyreek Hill, the Mike McDaniel offense. Let's get it happening in a game so we can show it on every highlight. People will shut up. It'll make Tua non-happy. Like, guaranteed we see one during the preseason.
Yeah, look, I agree with you, and there isn't a whole lot of defensive game planning that happens.
That's right, too.
So if you have some agenda, if you have some box you want to check, if you have somebody who's confident you're trying to build up, this is a way to do it. So we know there'll be a chance, and we'll take it, and Tyreek Hill runs past everyone, and Tua throws it deep, and it gets everybody excited, and then we wait and see whether or not that's what happens come week 1.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.